Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Plasma Blueprint Day workshop here on Monday, February 13th, 2023. This is the broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. I'm your host, Rick Crammond, today, and I think Mr. Keshe is ready to go at the headquarters of KFSSI in Linz, Austria, and we should be getting a live feed coming through here. Let me stop my sharing, and we should be able to have that come through. Okay, we see you there, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, good morning to you. Good morning, good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever you are with us through the knowledge-seeking Keshe Foundation programs of the KFSSI. We welcome you back to a pleasant day in introducing new technologies as we usually do in our Blueprint Days. Today, the blueprint is a very simple understanding of the change. The development of the technology has been to create a condition for a space where we do not need to depend on Earth for many things, where we do not need to depend for food, for energy, for transportation, for transmutation. And this Blueprint Day is part of that development we have done traditionally for past years. The very first blueprint was about magnets and in energy reduction, energy production. We have developed the technology in a way now in a very rapid development technology in achieving to produce gases and then gases, and then through the production of the gases with the production of the new plasma cosmic rays, which has brought us to a new dimension, which means we will produce energy and everything else, which we consider food as energy, we consider medicine as energy, we consider heating as energy, we consider transportation as energy, whenever we explain energy to be magnetic fields in motion. In that respect, we have reached a milestone in the production of the fields, magnetic fields, which we can use for communication, rather than what we are used to in a form of magnetic field as mobile phones, radio communication, television communication, where we always need an electric power behind it, and we need the line of communication of vision. If you have followed us for years, now you know we have moved into the step, into the environment where we create plasma energy. This has been the dream of many scientists. This has been the dream of many works like in CERN, many works like many scientific centers around the world. In a way to be able to communicate, in a way to be able to have a zero-time communication, in a way to be able to deliver food and energy, zero-time communication as you need. But in the process of a need today, we have to ask for, I want an orange, I want a bread, where our body converts these matter states into energy state that it gets absorbed by our body. As I always say, when you eat a banana, banana doesn't go to your heart or to your leg. The energy conversion of it, according to its balance, converts in the energy which the body needs. Now, understanding the plasma technology, we have created a condition that we don't need to eat the banana. We have access now to a plasma technology which creates all the energies which the body needs. So you receive the energy from the environment we create as you need. They say if you read, banana gives you calcium, phosphorus, whatever, which means when it broke down into energy, be absorbed as that in your body to be used. Now with the plasma technology, we create that energy. You don't need to eat a banana. You don't need to kill an animal to reach that point. But it comes to one point. How does body know what it needs and where it needs? And what controls this? It actually comes to one point. Our brain, the center of the operation, decides what is needed to be stored, what is needed to be called upon, what is needed to be converted, in what position and one place. So the world of the science has moved forward in a huge progress. We don't need to take an object or entity or anything like an orange or a banana to eat it, to get its energy at the level the brain says it needs, and reject the balance. Now, with the new development of the technology of the plasma, in being able to have access to the spectrum of all the energy fields, we can feed that energy directly to the brain. And then brain decides what it needs to be absorbed by the body from it. In a way, we ate food to feed the brain to central control, what we call in the name of soul of the man, or the central point, which every brain has one, where we said you can't have a solar system without the sun in the center of it. You cannot have a body of the man with a soul, with the central operation of it outside it. So the central operation of the brain of the man is inside the brain, where now we know where it is, now we know how we can access it, and now we can feed it, that it feeds the body, not for the man to kill to get that energy. To that respect, to understanding this, to be able to create that kind of energy, we have moved forward in the science and technology of the plasma. Now we are at a point where we think by thought, I want a banana, I feel like eating a banana. We satisfy that need through absorption of the energies, which gives us that satisfaction energy and emotion. This has taken years of research and development, and today we have achieved it. Today we have that system in our hand where we create a central plasma system. Even the technology we show today here, compared to what we have achieved and what we are achieving in the lab, these are obsolete. But we have to show you where we are going, and maybe in a few months' time, you will see a total independent system. The way we are now achieved, the way we have now developed in our research centers. What does this mean? This means you need a trigger point to start a system. And once you start a system, you can absorb energies from anywhere in the universe for your transportation, for your food, for your wellness, for your communication, for your transportation. So now we have access to a new knowledge, what we call universal plasma system, where the universe works on a plasma basis. We call the sun a plasma. We call an atom a plasma. We call an electron a plasma. But different amount of, with a different strength of, manifest themselves in different environments. And in that direction, and in that purpose, we have moved forward a step towards independence of man in traveling to space. But what we have developed, what we show you today, is not for you not to eat. It's not for you to have a reduction in electricity bills. Is a space technology which allows man to live in space, allows man to move to the next step in evolution of science and technology. We are not something out of a black box. I'm a nuclear physicist, 40 years of research and development plus, and is in a step-by-step development in that process. As I always said, for centuries, we saw metals, we didn't know what they are. We melted them, we made things out of them. We mixed them, we made them alloys. So then later on, we understood about molecules, mixture of molecules, composite, which creates life like hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. We became knowledgeable in molecular structure. We understood that. As I always say, last century, we became to understand atomic structure, how these individuals make a metal, how many atoms of iron we need to make a sheet of iron, or whatever, how many molecules and cells are in our body, we can count it. We became atomic scientists. In a leaping step, we became nuclear. We found out this atom, what we see, has a center, has other bits running around it. We call them neutron, electron, we call them protons and everything else. And then in early 80s, long before in the early 70s, and in development of technology as a nuclear physicist, we went inside the neutron. No more these up clocks and down clocks and everything else. We looked at inside the structure of a neutron, inside the structure of an electron. And what we see is nothing but dynamic magnetic fields in interaction with each other. We don't need to have up clocks and down blah and all other names for it. We see structure inside a neutron, the same as the structure in a solar system. It has a center, and fields dynamically move, and in interacting with each other, in over time, create the Earth, create the Moon, create the Mars, create the Saturn and everything else. So now we understand the structure of an electron and a proton is the same. A central energy where it absorbs is a plasma. Then electron is like our solar system, a small one, and neutron is a bigger star system. 500,000 million times bigger than our solar system. So now we understand electron and proton and neutron have such an understanding, such a ratio. Now, coming to that point, we looked at how life is created on this planet. And then we see from the interaction of the fields of the Earth with its source in reduction, it creates different frictions of the magnetic fields, and different amounts of fields are released. As I always say, like a knife, you put it on a sharpening stone and you see the sparks, different lights. We understood one is hydrogen, one is nitrogen, and one is copper, and one is zinc. But they are all in energy packs in upper atmosphere. When they come in touch with the inertia, which is matter state magnetic field, gravitational field of the Earth, they convert into copper, to zinc, hydrogen. Now we understand this process. Then for us, it was easy. We always took the energy from outside in interaction with the energy, what we had, to create the hydrogen and oxygen. Now, with a new system, understanding the sun, the life of the man is in the center of the brain of the man, and now we radiate plasmatic fields towards it. It releases energy inside in different layers of the brain. As it needs it, it takes it. In a way, we start feeding the man from outside in, then inside out afterwards of the conversion. And to achieve this point, we can allow this sun to expand beyond the physicality of the man, or allow the body of the man, of the different strength of the plasma, to create different emotion in the brain of the man. In a way, if you look at it, at a certain point in the body of the man, you have what we call Can I get a whiteboard, please, on this? We need access to the whiteboard. In this process, what we see is that the whole structure comes up to one point. What we fed from outside, now we feed from inside. We don't need to kill to benefit by it. I don't have a wipes. We only need, your board is not taking the message. So what we need to understand is converting, creating energies that in interaction with the soul of the man would allow the man to create what we call your pen is not working. I'll go back, sort this out. We move to the other panel. If you go back to off the white screen. So we learn in how to create the position where we feed, we create, we make it available plasmas from outside to feed the inside. We've run tests for past months. Many of you came to this center to test, to see what you felt, what you tasted, what you digested as energy. You told us where you went, what you did. Some of you took different condition and position, and we all came to understand one thing, and that is we have the knowledge now to feed ourselves by thoughts. The body will take energy. We can make it available to it, but it's like, as I always said, we eat 20% of the energy we use. 80% comes in from the environmental condition, from cosmic rays, from the fields in the room. And we know this to be correct because for decades, for a long time, from even when the man was in a primitive condition. We know when we touch, when we bring hands close to each other, we feel the other hand without touching. So we have an aura. In the new scientific era, they can show you the aura, which is the interaction of the magnetic field of your body with its environment. That's what an aura is. You radiate out. It's exactly like the way the earth creates light. Magnetic field of the earth in interaction, rubbing against the magnetic gravitational field of the sun creates a daylight. So it's the same with us. Our aura is the interaction of our magnetic field, what we give out and what comes in. And in that process, we have to start learning more. Now we start using this knowledge. We start creating this position where now we create magnetic field that compresses into the body. And in interaction with the internal magnetic field of the body, or what you want to call it, internal aura that we don't see, creates fields, create lights, which in conversion feeds the body of the man. So we don't need to kill anymore. And in that process, I've been told the whiteboard is ready to be used. If it does, we'll be, yeah, we are ready to go. So if you take this as a soul of the man, or the center of the point of the body of the man, where do I get my colors? I've forgotten how to use this board. Okay, there we are. And then we see this as a brain of the man, where we take this as the body of the man in a shape of nervous system or blood circulation. Up to now, we ate to give energy into this system that can feed the others and provide energy as one way. That's a solid food. On the other hand, we learned to take air, which again came in and it distributed and gave energy. You call it with blood. And all these points was to sustain life or existence or give power supply, energy to the center that in its work, it can run the system in different way. Now what we have brought in, instead of you taking all this to convert to energies, in the development of the science and the technology, now we give you this, an extra unit, where we feed energies directly into the center. That this center does not need this and does not need this, which means you can live in a space even without air, because the energy needed is supplied directly by plasmas from outside. What you called in the past the aura, now it creates a field, an emotion of happiness here in interaction, emotion of sadness, hunger, joy, and everything else. And then when this is created, the way when you're happy, the emotion gives you the direction of what we call happiness and you show it as a smile, now you receive the energy as a level of the happiness and you see a smile, you run, you cry, and we see physical interaction. So this allows us to feed the body without actually killing, without actually destroying anything. And this has been the biggest problem, to find a source that can create this, that can breathe and feed the soul of the man, the center of energy, the star of the life of the man. What we believed, as I said, the solar system is in the center, and in the interaction of the fields of it creates Earth, Saturn, Jupiter, and the moon. We call it a joy. We call it sadness. We call it a banana. Different magnetic field, different strengths. And in that process, can we see what's on the other screen, please? Can you bring it back there? And then this allows us to create this new condition where we do not need to put a sheep in there, a banana in there, or something else, or an orange there. With the plasmatic magnetic fields, which carries the totality of the energy fields of the universe, we can feed this into the system. And the body interacts with it and creates that condition. And the biggest point for us was to be able to understand and develop a technology which can be this, where in the present time we have managed to create these fields in these two units. We call it like a headphone, and create the fields that we can feed the body of the man, the emotion of the man. We can allow, even in that process, can I have a new page, please? Oh, it's here. Forgot it. Then what this allows us to do is that up to now, we came with the center of the body, and we took the fields of it. We have a condition of another magnetic field, which is we have created, and interaction of these, we create different energies. One banana, one orange, one thirst, one love, one fear. The biggest problem, the biggest development was to find a technology which now we can feed the body of the man in space. And once we get to this point, we have reached the major breakthrough. And now we are at that point. Test done here in Linz, and test done in past 2 or 3 months with many of you, hundreds of you around the world. We have collected enough data. And we have developed the technology to create this 2 centers around your soul or central energy, the sun, that we can create condition of the feed, of emotion, allowing, creating fields weaker than what we call its environment that this black spot, as you see it, can start growing and growing. Where up to this point, where the headphones were, we feed you, and from this on, the fields created by these head units allows your soul to expand. Go to Mars, go to Grandpa, died years ago, in touch with soul. Now you understand that this process has created a new dimension in the world of science and technology. The whole secret was to be able to create the plasma that it matches the plasma of the soul of the man, the central sun of the man, and to bring this point in interaction. That in this part, to be the feeder, and to this part, to be the supporter. But as these units are plasmatic and they are in the center point of themselves, it's no problem for them to do so. It's taken years of research. I spent nearly 40 years trying to make what it is to travel in space without systems, without flying system. And now, once we understand this, we understand we can fly. In a way, we can go to, the flying is the job of the birds. Now, we can go to any point in that direction. Blocking into gravitational magnetic field of the position. The love of the mother who died years ago, Saturn, planet Zeus, or another galaxy. Because the plasma is like two magnets. Magnetic field of it interact, and this could be the soul, the strength of the field of the mother, or the strength field of a position and time, or a vitamin, we call it, or an element. And this is where your system, soul is. Now we understand this. Now we have come to this point, was to develop this system, to create this monster that it can do everything. And in the process of time, to give us the chance to be able to go through this expansion of the soul of the man. For the first time today, we have the ability and a pleasure to give you and to show you for the first time this unit, where in fact is what it is. The soul of the man within the center, and the elevation of the soul of the man within. In a simple way, you can communicate with anyone. You don't need to talk. You don't need to create emotion. You reach, the knowledge of the man has reached that point where we can connect. We don't need to become man of medicine when the system is there, when the soul says what it needs. It wants emotion of love to be given to the lover. You don't need to talk anymore because your lover will feel this, because you again radiate this love to the lover. And then you understand how much, in what level, the technology has been developed. I'm sure in a coming time, in the coming decades and years, These will be miniaturized to very small system under the skin of the man, around the ear, where it will create that condition. As I said many times, when you look at the first calculator, the first computer, which is in Manchester University nearby, doing simple addition, multiplication, is a two-story block system. This is that two-story block. 50 years down the line, we have computers within our pockets, we call calculators, and we can do magics with them. And this is that two-story block calculator. The first computers. And very soon, Keshe Foundation and other scientists will develop this to a point that we can have whatever we like from the space, and we can go anywhere we like. 0 time, you feel it, you're there. Many of our people who've been here have told us there is many of the pictures of that background. Is that camera? This is many of me across the universe in different time and position and places. And it'll come to the point where you as scientists of the Keshe Foundation and as scientists of the space technology, the new plasma technology, will reach that. The system in the future will create its own power. In the future, it will be miniaturized enough. I'm back again in 100 pictures. And you will see at this moment of time, we have developed a technology which supports the energy and line of communication with this. And it'll bring us to the point that we see how things are done. This is the new energy pack with a communication system built to work in conjunction with a system where it'll power supply you. At the moment, we connect this to a mainline electricity power. In a short time, what we have developed back in Keshe Foundation laboratories, these become independent generators. This is what we launched as gas electric power units. Those units are working in our laboratories. We have to miniaturize it and build it within this. Then this unit with the composite gravitational magnetic fields which produces, as it's doing now, will give you everything you need from transportation, transmutation, hunger, wellness, and everything else. In a way, you use your soul, you use the central energy of your body to be able to do this. The combination of the two today allows you to make that leap in the world of science and technology. The combination of what we call, which you have never heard of, and in a way goes back to what Tesla, the beautiful Tesla did. Tesla developed the technology, gave it to the Russians, set the system in Moscow, and run an electric car in New York. This is a small Tesla unit, where the system, through developed technology, receives its energy continuously from the source. In a way, you don't need to charge it, as it continuously receives what it needs as energy, the same as your body does, from its transmitter. Today, we have released 2 new technologies. One is zero-time communication of the soul of the man, which is what he needs. And For the first time, you see the repeat of the work of Tesla. Transmission of energy and to be able to support life. This time, we don't drive a car down the road. This time, we give life to man to walk on the planet or travel across the universe. Is what you call remote energy transfer, what we call remote transmutation transfer. And this is a working unit. And these are commercialized units. Many of you have been to Keshe Foundation and you've seen on the store, we call it a compact unit. These are all getting developed. Further, even what we see now, the one generation, one production, it'll be different than the one done next week because we immediately implement the new development into the next cycle. So what you see here, and we have shown it in a very clear way, we have connected it to show you something very strange with what it goes as a power generator, a small mini power generator, where we have connected the heater and a light into the system, where it shows it's in a working condition and still saves you some energy. And then it goes back into showing that even at this level, we are saving around 50%. So whatever you take, a 2 kilowatt heater and 60 odd watts of energy, you will see the total amount, but on the reading side, you will not see that. You will see, if I can light it up, 1,391. Can you focus on that light? Where can you see it? Where you have 1,380 and you have a 2 kilowatt heater and you have running technical corrections here all the time. And are we running out of battery in the mobile? Do you want me to get that till you replace this one? Hello, can you hear me? It's not working.
We can hear you
Can
now.
you hear me?
You might have been too close to the MagRav unit with the microphone.
Maybe. Let our people in the background change the batteries. Yes. So what you will see is even we are pulling over 2 kilowatts of energy from the system, plus is MagRav power point. It is, and it has become, pardon? No, hello, can you hear me? I'm all there.
Yes, we hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. What we see now is that 1,360 odd watt of energy, where we actually pulling over 2 kilowatt, plus the supply and the demand of the energy by the system of the communication. So what we have put in, you see it live. You see the interaction, you see the physical, what we call work of the system. These are the new communication systems. As many of you will develop and use these, you don't need to make a communication by the telephone. You start learning to trust your emotion and what you feel. You call your brother on the mobile phone and you use one of these headphones with him on the other side with the same, you don't need to talk. There is nothing hidden. There is nothing emotional or whatever will be hidden. You can feed yourself while you're talking. You'll never run out of energy. You never comes to the point that is unheard of today that you don't need to sleep. The sleeping time is a repair time. The sleeping time is for us to recuperate from the cells, where when you use this, that's done automatically. A lot of things with this new breakthrough technology will change. In a way, we developed it for a space that we cannot send food to our people, like the station today. We cannot send other things, but we can transfer the energies down the line, cosmic rays, the way we produce in the systems. And this today is available. And the more and more of you using it, the more breakthrough. But in a way, we play with you a carrot and a stick. The carrot is you get some energy saving in the house, and the stick is that you got to start learning how to trust your emotion, your soul, and start traveling the span of the universe. There's a lot of learning. We learn how to drive. Now we have to learn what we always knew. This unit will change a lot of your lives. And in that process, you'll come up with new solutions, new knowledge, as this is not only connected to the dimension of the knowledge of the man, you will gather knowledge from the universe. You don't speak Chinese, but when you speak with a Chinese scientist, he understands everything about you, and you understand everything about him, what he's talking. But the limitation is not only with the man. Man will have access to the knowledge of the universe. Don't forget where we went back on the whiteboard. The circle expands. Is not just another universe, it's another entity, it's another dimension of knowledge and technology. So today, we have brought in a new understanding and a new way to communicate, new way to produce energies, because this system produces cosmic rays and electric current together. But this system uses cosmic rays only. We need one to feed the other. And as I said, in the coming generations, you don't see any of these wires. The development of the production of plasmatic current, plasmatic energy in the laboratory, which is created for the huge enhancement units, will be transferred, miniaturized to this within the next few months, maybe a year or two. But now we have that capability to produce and to use. Many of you today use this technology through headphones, which we give you. You joined the 16th, you joined the 20th of January session. You're joining us on the 19th of February session for food. At the moment, we reach you through your electronic mobile phones and electricity. Those of you who purchase these and you receive them within the coming weeks, you will see the difference when you come to the next session. You feel all that in one go. Test it and see how you feel about your feeding. If your eating habit has changed, if your emotion has changed, did you have a condition which doctors told you there is no solution, and your body, your soul finds a solution because it's created itself? Now that emotion which created the cancer gets handled by the body itself. Why did I do what I was short of? Was it an emotion which created it, or was it another? You find your solution in one system. And the more interesting point is, how would the humanity take this? To you, it's like a headphone, but in the coming months and years, is a game changer. Do we need the hospitals? Do we need the cafes and the restaurants where we eat the body of the other entities? Do we need to suffer from the emotion of the love of the lack of what we have not received from the father and mother because of the misunderstanding, where through this there is no misunderstanding and everything can be sorted? That does not lead to the fibromyalgias of tomorrow, cancers of today, and many other things. This is not a simple at home. This is a breakthrough in science and technology of the creation, where it's hidden, it's embedded in it, everything one man needs. In a bigger version, if you can turn, we introduced you the bigger version of this some years ago as the enhancement unit to create this condition, to bring that position in science and technology. In a way, when you look at this, this is the science and technology of 5 years ago. Took us 2 or 3 years to build it, was shown 2 years ago. This is where you called it the body enhancement unit. And now we had his brother here on this side. We call it the material enhancement unit. Now you see the combination of the two, and the development in knowledge, science, and technology has brought us this, and much more. You see in the background, if you focus, huge reactors. If our people can reach inside, you see it. These reactors to produce energy for food, for travel, for everything else are in today's places. Material enhancement. It's the same knowledge. You have the soul of the man, and now you see inside the sun, the same structure. And now you have the enhancement body, where it gives you what you need in your body. Now you understand how much a technology has developed. And it's not just out of the box. It's development over the past few years in knowledge seekers and our scientists to understand, to miniaturize a material production, which now your body does inside it, an enhancement unit, which does what you need in the body, emotion and everything else, and brings you to this point. This is what we've been here for. And that's what's been created. And it's not something that we suddenly came to show. You've been with us over the past 10 years, and you've seen a step-by-step of its development. So now, this is where we are. A major breakthrough in science and technology. An energy pack system, which creates both cosmic rays, plasmatic magnetic fields, where, in a way, it's a table council. And when you put your system together, if you look at it, is not far from what you people call it, the gamers. You have your head council and you have your energy council. But in so many ways, as you gamers know, and we know many of you, you have your fridge next to you to keep your drink cool while you're playing your games. And you have the heater to keep you warm in the room in the winter, and the light and energy for your computers. And you're still saving energy in consumption for those. Now you understand the change in science and technology. But for it to be accepted, we had to find a way that is accepted already. A console unit and a head unit. This time, you play the game of universe and not the war games on the computer game. I wonder if in a coming time, our soul will allow us to play war games on a computer consoles where you have these systems on the table. Would we wash out the killing and the fighting nature of the man within his soul with a structure of this development of this technology? Would the man become a peaceful man? And would we see conflicts in the homes, the houses between husband and wives and children and parents and within the society disappear? As we all gradually understand certain emotions in our body has no room to grow. This is a fundamental change. And this is not, we're going to develop, it's developed and it's commercialized and it's getting developed in a bigger way. I hope many of you understand what is actually on the table of the knowledge, the science, and the life of man. And I'm sure many of you knowledge seekers will come back to us and you say, I felt this, I thought of that, and it happened. All these suddenly, accidentally goes out of the way because now you learn to live, to understand you have a physical life and you have a soul life, which you always called it the dream when you expanded it. Now the dream becomes a reality. You have to learn to live in both dimensions, in where your soul sees and what your physicality does and how they come together. And we'll see the next step in development of the science and technology. Now we go to another point. Many of you have been with us and came through the, what I call the original systems of the energy reduction, and you call them MAGRAVs, and you build them with no success. You build them with no, what we call hope puppet, and some of you got it the right way. You saw the reduction, and some of you got it the wrong way, and you could not do. Can we switch the camera to this side, please? And in that process, we started to develop technologies for you to show what's the next. And the next thing, which is affecting you directly today for every life, especially with the rise in the prices of energy, electric energy and gases, is to deliver the technology which can actually save you a lot. And these are not saving that you're cheating. These are the new hybrid energy units, where the box within it will absorb the energy from cosmos, absorbs cosmic rays, and converts it, makes it available for you to use it, what you can convert into power and electric. We have shown this, and as you've seen, we always used to show you a unit. Now you see a mass production. This is what now is getting delivered. This is what is now getting produced and getting delivered on the mass production. So what does this do? What do we have here? We have here a 400 kilowatt refrigerator. We have here a 2 kilowatt full blast heater. And together is about 2.3, 2.4 kilowatt of energy. Can you zoom on this, please? And what we see, the system is using only 1,100 kilowatt, which is 1.1 kilowatt, 1,069 watt, 1.1. So in a way, the two systems use now around about 2.4, and we only take 1.1, about 50% reduction direct. But this system has never been shown before. This system has another side to it, which is the lighting system. We see 110 watts of energy on the floodlight, and 66 plus is about 170, 80 watts of energy. What we see on the screen is 113. And the more you use it, the more it pulls from the environment. So in fact, we are using round about 2.5, 2.7 kilowatts of energy, and all we are tracking back is only 1,236, 50% reduction. And this is not something strange. This is power of the plasma. Where we are used to hybrid cars, we have petrol and electric. Now we have to get used to hybrid energy systems through plasma. Plasma creates half of it, and the what you call the power supply plays the other. We have access technology to create a total energy generation without depending on a power supply from outside, and integrating it with this system will allow us to use kilowatts, tens of kilowatts of energy with a small power supply. That power supply, which we call gas electric unit, when is added to the house in conjunction with this, will make you independent. In a future time, in a very near future, these systems will be fitted with what we saw in the headphone unit, where through these systems, with the modules which you interact and we build in it, you can have the food supply. You can fix the emotion. You can fix everything else. And in conjunction with the transportation system, it becomes part of the energy unit for your flight system, which this will bring the change. This is what we call plasma enhancement units. Now they're available, and you can see it. We deliberately brought it here. They're mass produced and getting delivered. What you order depends on the backup of the orders we deliver, and it'll be expanded to the others, and we can deliver the whole technology in a very near future as part of the expansion of the two, communication and the energy. Food, part of this energy today, you see as light. Food is energy. If we can dissipate that energy through this system in a balanced level as a body, you have your food, you have what you need, and everything else. This brings into play a new understanding, a new conversion, and as you see here, we have 50% reduction on the total. There, we get 30% reduction, but the main purpose of these portable units are the application in space science technology, in understanding where we go, and how we transmute and transfer, and how we develop the technology further. As I said, we came from those huge units in the background, the Ubiso's body enhancement unit, the material unit, over 2 years to this. What would happen in next 2 years? And don't forget, at this moment of time, Keshe Foundation is the only developer of this technology and knowledge. What happened when the mass scientists get access and understand it and take it to its next level? Maybe next 4 or 5 years, maybe in next few years, we'll see massive changes. Do we see cars on the road when you can transmute with this unit? Would we see hospitals where the energy needed for any correction of the health will be provided by the body through the soul itself? Would we see prisons where through the correction of the emotions, man will do no wrong? Would we see judges and courts as when we don't do wrong, there is nothing to judge but except ourselves? And then this is the new era. And the beauty of it is, as I said, we have seen ourselves, we played ourselves, we've seen our children playing it. We call it the game consoles with the headphones. Now we see the life console, the creation of the fields of the universe that can create life, can support life. And what else man will do with it? Where would we end up? Would we have centers that gives us a specific field strength for a specific condition, as we buy apps for certain games and certain applications on our mobile phone? There become suppliers who understand how to create fields for a specific emotion, and you add to the console. The change of game is massive with today's presentation of knowledge. And this is not what we might come on the 20th of December last year. 160 odd of you used the electronic version of it. On the 20th of January of this year, you met with your prophets, with the soul of your prophets. On the 19th, you will eat from the chalice of what energy of the universe. So it's already is with you, is already part of you, is already been tested by many of you who came here and went through the whole structure. As you can see on your screen, the very last picture, the very last thing at the entrance is the beginning of the nanotechnology. And then as you come down, you see the end up to today. From the beginning to the end. Beginning is literally vertically above me. Introduction of the nanotechnology, introduction of GANSys. And then below you see the application of it some 40 years later in development of the space technology and science in a level that no man needs to kill, to eat, to gain energy. No man needs to destroy another life, and no man needs to kill himself from inside through his emotion. But this brings another point. What would be the extent of the life of the man from now on? How many thousands of years would be able to live? As you see the picture, the first GANSys. When we introduced it years ago, everybody jumped. If you go a bit more to the left, you see the first nanoplates when we introduced the nanotechnology with the GANSys. And you see it at the beginning, the way when you enter the Keshe Foundation Exhibition Center, the plates on the far left, and then the use of creation of releasing of the 3 books. And then it comes literally when you go back to the GANSys to the next stand, and all you need to do, come down 90 degrees or straight down to the floor below, and you see the development of the same technology sitting on the table. And nothing has changed. It's just the understanding of the technology, the knowledge of the creation, which has changed us. The rest of it has been a journey for many of knowledge seekers to learn and to understand. I hope those of you who receive these counsels and you're happy with a little bit of saving of energy will come to understand the travels of the space and universe. And those of you who come to us in a coming up time will travel the span of universe through a collective travel of what we call souls of the man together. We've shown you major breakthrough in science, major breakthrough in technology, and understanding how the collective essence of the knowledge will bring us to the next step. In a couple of weeks, maybe next week, we'll introduce you to another new systems, which is part of the system, but is the beginning of the structure of even bringing the electronic and the electrical world of today into the plasma. We need that step of conversion. We need that step of understanding where we use the present developments in electronic into the plasma technology with one step. That bridging step, that transformer and transformation will be shown next week. And how one you can do on a matter state as a tabletop GANs production, and one as a new, what we call transformer. A new transformers will be introduced in the coming days. We hope to do it next week. That with it, we will show the next step, the bridge between plasma and electronics and electrical systems. We need that bridge, otherwise it becomes two separated things. And we allow gradually scientists and engineers and commercialization of the technologies to come together. In a way, today we have seen what we call a new console, a new gameplay, and it is there to be enjoyed. Hopefully, you'll enjoy these consoles more than we do as we generate them, we create them, and hopefully you will tell us what happened to you. I haven't slept for 3 weeks. I haven't eaten for 3 months, and I have no illness, where myself, have created that for myself. Independent, total independence from anything else. This is a breakthrough in science and technology. It is not something else, but as I said, we were molecular, we became atomic, we became nuclear, and now we become plasma as we have endeavored to understand the world of creation of the Creator. As I always said, and it's on the back of the first book, it says, the Creator is creator of all, and man converter of some. And this is part of that little sum of the knowledge of the creation that we have tapped into. And maybe with this new generation of scientists will tap into a bigger dimension of knowledge of the creation, which we have no knowledge of today, as we did know nothing about nuclear 200 years ago, and we knew nothing about plasma some 50 years ago. Now we're becoming master of playing the game and expanding the technology. As I said, as our camera can show, the knowledge in those huge containers, Obesos, material production has been reduced, condensed due to knowledge and understanding to such a small system. Then what will be next? Where would we stand in a couple of years in such an auditorium to show you another breakthrough? Creation of new lives, creation of new dimensions, the space travels of the future, where you don't even need to get into a spaceship, where the way you do every night in bed, and you call it a dream, expanding of the soul to another dimension, and then give it physicality in that dimension. These are not outreach. You do it every night, you call it a dream, and you go and see the mom, and you come back in the morning, you wake up, nobody knows where you've been, because all has been in the energy of you. And now you can call mom. You don't have to wait one day you dream. You don't need to wait for one day I might see my mom in my dream. You wish it, you arrive it. And you see why mom doesn't want to see you for so many years, when what happened that it created that condition, where now you have access to every knowledge, not only solar panel, You have access to soul of every planet, every star, and every universe man can dream of. But man has to train himself to get to that point. And we have shown you the very first tools. And I'm sure these two items will become items of museum where the man for the first time understood how to expand his soul, how to feed himself through his soul, and how in the dimension of life managed to create systems which allows man to become what it is. I'll put you this back to the knowledge seekers. If you have any questions, as usual, we answer. We take a few minute break, as usual, and we come back to answer your calls. Thank you very much, Rick. If you take us to a break, please.
Okay, very good, Mr. Kesh. Okay, we'll play some of the Kesh spaceship unit videos and be back in a few minutes. Thank you, everyone.
The revolutionary new Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit is due to be launched in June 2022, and in the same year is expected to fly passengers into space, to the moon and beyond for a day or even several days at a time. There is no need for the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit to carry food or medicine, as it is equipped with the latest space technology for transportation, transmutation and deep space operation. This extraordinary breakthrough technology ushers in a new era of travel without the need of fuel, food, or medicine, even during the longest excursions into deep space. Each spaceship unit has a 4-passenger capacity for long or short duration flights and has the capability to travel between cities on Earth in a matter of seconds to minutes, depending on the distance and speed. This ability to traverse massive distance in such incredibly short time is not just a breakthrough for human transport, it also completely revolutionizes the transportation of goods and cargo and will rapidly overcome the need for one of our most polluting practices, namely marine shipping, as it finally breaks us free not only from the combustion of heavy diesel, but from the combustion of any fuel for propulsion in the future. The Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a new paradigm in space travel, space medicine, and space technology. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a plasma space technology to prepare humanity for transportation and transmutation in deep space. Essential processes are embedded to prevent mutations and psychosomatic conditions during deep space travel. This new system is designed to support upper body conditions, especially of the lungs and intestines, and can be targeted specifically for each organ. When inside the Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the body experiences balance in totality, enabling it to correct and rebalance all the fields within itself. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a dimension in health and transportation never seen before.
Okay, we're back at the Plasma Blueprint Day workshop here on Monday, February 13th, 2023. And I think Mr. Kesh is ready to take questions, but perhaps he has something else he'd like to say first. Let's switch to the live camera, perhaps. That might be
Yes,
better.
I think you see there's always a live camera in the background. You can switch to it. See the Keshe Foundation Exhibition Center in Linz, and where we show our technology in the best of the ability. And as I said, if you look in the center, you see the very first reactors in the space reactors, which were tested as a plasma reactor technology in Iran some nearly 15 years ago. And we have jumped from these reactors to move objects, not to move the man itself through his emotion and physicality. And with one camera, if you slightly tilted to the right, you will see the original flight system, you see the abyssals, you see the new flight system, the new energy developments, and the gas production, all under one roof. The technology from base to the top has been created by one is what we call a structure, the Keshe Foundation. And the beauty of it is you've all been taught. It's not something kept that it will die when somebody goes. Everything is possible for all of you that you can develop it yourself. We taught you how to make the ganses. We taught you how to make the nano coating, how to make the magraphs, how to make everything else. But we look at the technology in a applicable in a universal condition. You look at the technology half stuck to man. And this is the problem. The whole structure, the whole understanding of the technology comes to one's understanding of the creation. You are the last man standing and not us. You are the one, the last man standing with need for food, need for energy, need for health, need for travel. It's you who will decide, sitting in your living room, I want to go to the supermarket, and you'll be there. Not for us to take you there. And this is what is to come. This is the evolution in science and technology, and we are all part of it. It's not exclusivity. We have taught it enough to not to become exclusivity. Any question?
Okay, I'll remind our attendees here that they can raise their virtual hands and then they can ask a question. We have a couple of hands raised already here. Nicola and Lucia, I'll allow you to speak first, and Antonio after that. Hi, go ahead and say who you are and where you're from, please.
This is Nicola and Lucia. We are from Serbia in a small city of Smederevo. And I was looking at your 50% compact plasma enhancement unit, the unit on the right, the white one, which you just demonstrated. I was wondering what's the limit or the maximum number of kilowatts of power which can be pulled from it. Which you can somehow, what's the kilowatts of the appliances you can attach to it? And
there is no limitations what your electricity board allows you to pull. We had this experience here this morning. The setup you see was set up, tested since Friday night. And this morning we added 2 kilowatt again. Our system holds, but the building system fuse blew out because it could not hold. So depends what operation you put, because these are our 3.5 kilowatts plugs. We have literally plugged these into one plug. all the systems you see in the background is in one circuit. And this is the problem with all this, that you get reduction according to the need, what your system can support, not what this system can support. You can go up to usual connecting. You see, something which is very beautiful with this system is you have not noticed this system, or I should explain it in a different way. For the first time, you have one input system. Can you put the camera on this, please? Which camera? Is that camera picking it out? This camera on the left, yeah. You have one point which you connect to the main. Here, we connect it to the building's circuit. If you look here at the bottom, can you go down, please? The camera, you go up. Can you give it back to Dean that he can take it, then you're devoting it control? Yeah, okay, you got it now. If you look, I go in the back, which is easier to show. In the system, you have two exits. Hello, can we have one camera on, please, that we can see both? You have a right and you have a left exit, the blue and red. The blue in these systems, you connect to the load, the heating, the cooker of the building. The one on the right, you connect to the lighting system. This is what you never had access to. This allows you a totally different usage. Some of you, when you plug your magraves into the fridge, and you said there is not much saving or was a spreading, because you were not picking up what was on the heating side, all of it, what was on the cooker side, what was on the lighting side. For the first time, you have, these cannot be used, placed by normal people. You get an electrician to come in to connect you to after the meter, and then he connects one fuse to the blue side and one to the red side, and then he connects one into your heavy load, which is your cooker or heaters. Then you run up to 70, 80% reduction over time. And this is how it works. That's what we said. Can you go down a little bit? This is what we said, that these are new system. This is not the old, this is not the system you had before. You cannot plug to one side of it. You plug your lighting system to one side, and you plug your load, be it the cooker, the plugs, and everything else to the other side. And this gives you the maximum capacity, and then it depends what your system has been set at 16 amp to take. So this new system is truly creates not only a saving, but because it runs both on your plugs, usually on the ground floor, and then it runs on your light system on the above. This is how we explain to you these systems will be brought in to create change of environment. In systems, compact systems of the future, you will see this is how you create energy, even for heating inside the room without actually heating it. And this is the change. You saw the same thing. If you can put the camera on this one, is the same process with this unit. You see, plug on two sides. You can't plug these two into one plug into the house. You blow everything up. You can put an extension and take lighting or heating or whatever on the other side. You cannot plug and play into the same plug. You take one from the main and you plug these back into main. You plug these into loads, into the fridges, into the what we call lighting system. And then you see the benefit across the house. You cannot plug this into one plug in the one side of the house and the other one to the other side. This is a new technology. That's what we said. It's a new breakthrough in science and technology. It's not two outlets and then you put two fridges on it or plug it back somewhere else. The red goes to the light system, the blue goes to the load system, heaters, cookers. It's the same with the new power generation. This is how, when we tell you, you created dynamic magnetic fields in the house. And these, when you put it on the tabletop, don't plug it back into anything. Just put a plug on it, a fridge, a lighting, and it'll do its work. For the first time, we covered the two. When you bought and did the magravs and you plugged it into the plug, you only had a benefit of what was used on the plugs whenever it's used. But these systems have to be connected to the light and the plug in a separate way. On the tabletop, you can use it the way we showed. But this saving is what is sitting here. Here you see a fridge. Gamers always have a fridge. That's why we call it the tabletop unit. And then you get the benefit of what's in the plugs. You don't get the benefit of what's in your heating, of the immersion heater, and the heating in the, what do you call it, the other side of it. And we put it down, and that's what it does. In a way, if you look at it, it has a left or right. And if you look at it, your headphones have a left or right. The two unbalanced energies within the brain of the man creates that dynamic field of the operation of the man. We follow the same science, the same technology, not just use what they fit. So that's why I said there is a lot of background technology in these that you cannot see. If you buy something like this and it's not bought from the Keshe Foundation direct, just throw it. It's your problem. That's why I said, when we deliver technology, nobody can copy. Open it up, split it up. You don't understand what's inside it because there's so much plasma knowledge of the universe has been used in it that you cannot even dream about it. Time is gone. The Italian installed the Keshe Foundation selling some Ganses and everything else. Sell the peanuts. We came here to do a different job. And that's where we are now. You want to, if you can change the camera behind me, here, these are the Ganses to do with what we recently promoted for the trial with the knee. No one can copy this, impossibilities. The same is with the new pads. The new pads which are promoted now by the Keshe Foundation, the enhancement is different than before. We There are people who still produce the ganses and plates and play all sorts of games with it. We are in one-track mind, to take man to space as a peaceful man and understand how which section of the brain of the man works for peace. And that's what we developed. When you don't have worry about the huge bills, you don't have to work 10 times more just to pay the sheikhs of Emirates. You spend the money on your children. When you don't have to spend tens of thousands, whatever in the future, on something else which the technology gives, why should you? Why should you spend 18 hours on a flight from one point of this planet to another where you can do it in 18 seconds? Why should you pay thousands to sit in the first class and then cram up in the back in the economy by the time you land after anything else? But some of you end up with all sorts of problems, end up with a heart attack, everything else. And how many of you take a trip and to see someone, and when you get there, it's not there? This time, you know, the soul is there, physicality is there, and you can join it. These are the realities of the new science and technology. It's not philosophy anymore. It's not something, what they call theology in it. System delivers, does. You came here, you wanted to see the mom, you went through the system, you saw the mom. Now, the system is here to do the same, maybe in much more effective way. You are not entering a fairy tale science. You're entering a science of creation. A science where you have been part of it. It hasn't come developed by somebody in the back stores of a laboratory and then attacks you at CERN and then you all get diseases with it. You have created the knowledge. You have created the science. This is why we taught this way, to carry you with us, millions of you, that when the technology comes, is not the time of Egyptian, only Egyptians knew and died with them why they made the pyramids and the rest of it, and the rest of us are philosophically trying to explain it. A game console, game of life. You have your Maghreb system at home and you thought you understand it and you played with it. You understood about some fields and things you played with. Now you have a plasma system which literally can, if you understand how, and we develop it in the further steps, to use it appropriately. If you look at this unit and understand when it connects to the lighting circuit in the house and to the heating and what we call load side of the house, what have you created? If you look at it in a way, you are in a self-made abysso. That's in the background. Now you create it in the house. This is what I said. The structure of the science and knowledge and technology has changed. How many kilowatts can you use? Do you want to hit the next door neighbors with a floodlight from outside? If you tell us what you want to do with it, how many kilowatts, and your cables can carry it, we can do it. We now commercialize this for factories. Different scale of production, different materials. We are ready to feed commercial units. At the moment, a lot of factories are going in part-time because of the heavy fuel costs. A lot of companies closing down because they cannot afford 3-4 times electricity charges. We put this in, we reduce the cost back to what it was last year. So the game changes. But the beauty of it is, how would the workers in the factories using this technology will feel? Would their emotion change? Would they all sign less for sickness? Would they? This is what we tested. This is what we've seen. When we try things, we look at the totality. I was talking to people who were with us, and I know they're in the background. We because it came public in one of the teachings about the farming unit test which we are doing. And what happened in this farming unit? They painted ganses the way we instructed, a pen with the pigs in it, the piglets when they are born, and they left one without painting it last year. And the figures are out now. We were told we're waiting for the final figure on site. The losses with the infection on the side which was not painted has been heavy. They're counting how heavy it's been, how been damaged. How many out of 400, 500? This farm produces about 2,500 pigs a year. It's part of the what we call Trials of the Kashmir Nation. We are there. We set up a lot of things in there, and the unit were painted with the ganses. They had 400 pigs last year in it going through. Losses only 6. Technology, we advised how to be done. It was set up the way it was done, and is less than around about 1.5%, which is unheard of in the pig industry. We know we'll get the data most probably around about 20–30% on the other side, where it was Kansas. It's in the same farm, the same parents, the same mother pigs, the same thing, the same food. Now we are getting data. Have we changed the soul of the pig in that system? Have we changed the environment of the place? Have we created a condition that the pigs are not getting infected? The energy level is higher. The energy level handles the viruses, where 20 meter, 50 meter away in the same farm, 20–30% mortality. It's a break and life for a farmer. Now, this data is done in Europe. It's not outside. It's a few hundred kilometers away from us here. So we see it. We have a permanent person in the farm as one of our knowledge seekers, which is supporting and helping with the farmer. And now, with this system, we painted and we did things with the water and everything else with the pigs. With this technology, would we change the life of the man from 40 years of misery to 200 years of pleasure? Would the 65-year become pension goes through the window? Insurance companies cannot take a pension for 40 years from you and pay 400 years back to you. Would your needs be the same? Would your governments be able to support these kind of expenses? When you don't get ill, do we need to keep so many nurses and doctors? Would being a doctor become a reality because we don't get ill anymore that way? Becoming a farmer wouldn't become a reality. Would it be shortage of people in space for us because too many people want to go? Now this is on the table. This is literally on the table. It's here. It's not going to come. So how many kilowatts? Do you measure it by electric, you're saving, or do you measure it by health? As the wife of the same farmer suffering from a disease for years has said, even if it didn't work for the pigs, the what we call recovery, which the wife has received from just consuming and being in the environment after years of suffering, was worth investing in. We are not looking at how the corn grow, how many pigs saved. We are looking at what affected the environment, what people changed, did the animals change? And we got the answer very, very softly back that it was worth investing just for what it brought in change. We didn't make the systems for the human consumption, but being in the environment of it, using the pigs which they fed themselves with the technology has brought changes in the house to them. This is what we are looking at. This is not that how many kilowatts can I go? Now I have a, what do you call it, plasma power generation of the enhancement units and go to megawatts, getting all the electricity in the house and give to the neighbors. It'll meet, but would your electricity panel hold on to it? If you can go on a whiteboard, please, then I'll explain to you exactly what does this mean with this new plasma. You will save hundreds, you save thousands, because we see it here. It's live, systems are here. It's not something that we're going to show is going to come. These systems you see on the stand behind, these are getting delivered to you knowledge seekers in the next few days. You are becoming the users of this technology. And you have to understand how this works. How many kilowatts? This is your unit. This is your unit. You have a cable to go out, and you have a cable to come in. You connect this to the lighting system of the house. So you come from the above. You connect this into the plug system of the house. You're running low. You have your immersion heaters and whatever else which is had to be connected on the phase right. Now you have created this environment. When we release the next generation of technology, hopefully next week or in a couple of weeks, depends how much our people can go to sleep, if I'm correct, you will see the first wireless lighting system. Where these systems you created now generates plasma. Now you live in an environment where you might not need, you don't feel hungry. How much does the electricity cost? Or you happen to have a cancer and you're walking in this house 24 hours a day, and then you go to the doctor, he say, sorry, there is no cancer. How much do you value this? This is the game changer. Not how much electricity, what wattage, and what kilowatt I can put into it. The knowledge, technology, the way is going, soon this will be in the hand without this. Where we produce, generate the gas and electric within this system. We're already doing it in our lab. And that's what is to come. You can hold what we saw, an LED light in the hand, and see it to light up. Where you need so many milliamps, and it's not there electrically, but it is magnetically, plasmatically. The leap in the science and technology is very rapid from now. If you understand this and you place it in a Tesla car, you never need to charge. This technology for sure will go to China. One of our knowledge seekers, who is very close and always been with us, now works for one of these companies, and they will go to China. I'll travel to China in the next few weeks and transfer the technology of the what we call transportation to the Chinese motor industry. He's a knowledge seeker we love so much. And this is the response to his request. He's part of now automotive, electrical cars, and it'll be done so. Now that China is opened up, we establish our relationship back to China very rapidly, where we've seen freedom of technology development. Now you understand. You connect to different parts, and they come different ways. Keshe Foundation now has a very clear structure in how we can transform the plasma technology into knowledge, science, and application. Iran delivers the technology. Austria develops research and development to test the technology, and China will come as part of the major users of the technology. This way we protect the knowledge not to be leaked out. We can, in a very short time, as you have seen, you traveled. Can I have a white page, please? We can supply into China people who have these systems in their head directly from Austria. There will be no transfer technology stealing the way we do now. We are doing this in the background with a lot of our work, so we develop it this way. In a way, Tesla transferred electric current. Keshe transfers a plasma current, where the two, in some places, overlap. But the knowledge is the same. And in the systems which we develop now, in reality, we have embedded and embraced inside the test bank, which the new systems will have both transmission at the same time. Right. This is something which we have already developed. So there is a lot to come. One of the biggest problems was to enhance the plasma in its transferring and transformers. And now we have achieved, our team understand and develop the technology. So that becomes the Earth, and you as citizens anywhere in this planet, we can reach. Beginning of one nation, one planet, one race, where everybody, doesn't matter if you're in the jungles of Amazon with no education, or you're the top scientist or the president in the White House. We all receive the same knowledge, the same energy simultaneously at the same time, the way the Brazilians have done. Where in jungles of Amazon, thanks to work of people like Rafael and the rest of the Brazilian community, the small villages, groups in Amazon are using the ganses to overcome all sorts of problems. The same as you lot do through Keshe Foundation and everywhere else. Now the technology is exactly where I want it to be, at the reach of everyone with the knowledge to be available to everyone. Now, how many kilowatts do you want to take from the system? It's not anymore kilowatts, it's what's my life worth? How do I feel and how I am? And it's not going to be something to be in the future, is on the table right in front of you, seeing the, what we call, you bought the, as I said, the consoles to play games. Now this is a game of life for all of you. Is not, would not be coincidental. I had a diabetic last month. How I don't have. I was hungry all the time. I don't eat. I don't need to sleep anymore because I receive enough energy. Sleep is not needed. And the technology is in hand of people. It cannot be hidden. And now is back to you. How many kilowatts of energy can I use? Megawatts for your food, for your drink, for your breathing, for your travel, and the rest of it. Any other question?
If I may add an additional question, and thank you for all the answers. I understand that this is more than just kilowatts, the whole life and everything, and the health. But let's say, additionally to having one unit for the house, as you recommend, I get to purchase a secondary unit for the purpose of a vehicle. And for example, I have a 10 kilowatt generator and a 5 kilowatt alternator connected to each other. And the output of the unit powers the motor, and then the input of the unit can be taken from the generator, which is connected directly to the motor. Would this give me, theoretically, 5 kilowatts of additional or even more that are just extra? And can I turn this into an off-grid unit in that certain manner?
You can do, but the thing is, you have to understand, you always have a battle we had with other people. Where do you switch? The biggest problem for you is where and how you run a motor on a battery and then a backup to run a generator. Do you understand? You have to put a unit somewhere that you can run in that transition. Now we do it in electric cars, and we do that. That's easy to be done. So yes, you can, but what is the purpose of creating so much energy? You
Well,
become self-sufficient. But if 5 kilowatts is what, 10 kilowatts is what you need, you can use the new plasma enhancement and sort it out, plan it that way. It can be done, yes. But
Great.
the technology development which we have is done as a gas and electric power unit has already solved that problem. You don't need to invest into another generator and then a motor and the rest of it.
Yeah, I was saying this because 3,000 euros for that power unit is more affordable, and maybe 1,000 euros for the motors and generators for me personally, than the 15,000 for the gas
Yes,
unit.
but
That
if
was
you
my
can-
example.
If you can run it that way, yes. But you have to understand how you do it. If you can do it, if it can be done, yes. But you have to understand the gas power generator is for multiple applications. Our houses, our economy is based on gas than electric. Any other question?
You have a hand up with Antonio. Would you like to go ahead, Antonio?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Mike, how you going from Australia?
Yeah,
Uh,
the accent gives it away.
sorry?
I said the accent gives it away.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, it's with the original Magrav that I bought from Kesh Foundation, does that work with the headphones?
What do you mean? No,
The,
no.
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 Okay.
No.
Right. Okay.
Because this is not a Magrav system. This is a plasma compact unit. Inside it is a lot of equipment set in to as a receiver, transmitter of plasma and energy and that kind of thing. It's not a Magrav system.
So the standalone power generation unit that doesn't work with the headphones either. You have to get the compact unit separately.
Yes.
Okay.
But
All right.
if you get the compact head unit and connect it as a tabletop and then you create a different condition connected to the light system separate and to the plug system separate to create the environment. You get a better result.
Mhm.
It's very
Okay.
much, if you've been to Linz, if you've been to the flight system, you go in the flight system, you sit in a head system, yeah? But
Mhm.
you're not in a room, you're in what do you call it, in a shell, which is mounted with a lot of reactors.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mhm.
It's not just creating, it's creating the environment, which is the key to it. And then actually just one place.
Right. With being a farmer, the diesel tractors, how would we use this technology when it comes to diesel tractors?
The conversion unit of this will be marketed very soon for what do you call it, the hybrid, where you come triple breed, I call it. If you had the electric car to reduce, or if you have a hybrid car, you can add this to the hybrid again to extend the mileage on the electric side, same as what our colleague friend just spoke about. We can use the electric car generation in a much easier, but the hybrids are going to go out of the market by 2030, by 35, by the law in Europe. So we go directly for the energy transfer to electric cars. I'm sure the tractors will become electric very soon as well. And you can connect into the battery, the same as before, the new units, which gives you electric powers, what they call it, increase. But even in understanding the power production, even the ones with a car, if you go back to the testimonials, a lot of people spoke about the driving of the car is easier, we get more mileage out of the fuel, but they never understood that in a way, can we go on the whiteboard, please? In a way, if we look at, I'm back again, energy in pictures. If we look at what actually happened with the people, I explained this a few times, but maybe now we understand it different, is that what happened with the cars which you added into your cars a MAGRAV unit, and you said, I get a better drive. This is my car with its wheels. And I get more mileage. There is something missing off the screen, don't see there. This is the view. Okay, so you put a battery in the car, you have your electric motor, whatever goes with it. And what happened when you made these connections? You connected one side of the battery to the one point of the body and the other one to the body of the body. That's what mainly done. But it's the same story now, you understand, as I explained a few minutes ago. You created a plasmatic field. In a way, your reduction in the consumption of the fuel, I used to drive 200 kilometers per tank, now I do 400. They laugh at you, but why? Because here I weighted 1 ton and here I weigh 500. because this magnetic field which are created is the same principle as we just shown you in the house. When you plug into the plugs or plug into the light at the same time, but because this is a confined environment, your steering became much easier. How many of you reported the steering was easy? It became much smoother. Even my car is 20 years old. I'm using less plasma or less fuel. And then everything else you reported. You created a gravitational magnetic field flying machine, but limited flight capability. How many of you reported in your testimonials if the car was rusty, the rust disappeared, the car this and that happened to it? Because now you're in the MagRav, the same as you had a cancer, you don't have a cancer anymore.
So I
Now,
could put the,
you understand?
yeah.
You put this
Could I
in your
put-
tractor, what happens? You create environments, you can carry 10 ton, now you carry weight of 5 ton.
Mhm.
That's all it
Yeah.
does. That's all it'll be.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kesh, may I give a recommendation about a diesel tractor?
Yeah.
You could possibly just get a gas unit, and the gas that's produced by the gas unit can be just put into the air intake of the tractor. And instead of using that throttle to push more diesel and go up in revs on the motor, you just have a valve which you use as a throttle to put more or less gas into the air intake. And you could possibly just drive the tractor off of the gas unit.
Yeah, but it's the same boat. You need something in to burn.
Because your gas unit makes combustible gas, from my understanding.
Yes, we understand that, but the gas unit, you have to buy gas unit or produce the gas somehow.
Well, yeah, if he buys a gas unit, maybe he can run his diesel tractor off the gas unit.
Yep. Any other question?
Thank you.
Now we understand the science of what the plasma is and what it does. Any other question?
Yes, we've got some questions in the Q&A here from my glasses on. It's Ali. What can we do to accelerate the growth of world consciousness and peace?
It's been done in different ways, by spreading the Ganses, by development of these technologies. But you got to understand, when we start putting so many of these units together in the, what you call, it's easier for me to rub it off than actually go for a new page. I'm going to get somebody to run around to do it. The reality is very simple. You spread the Ganses around everywhere. Now you get houses in one area or different area, all using these MagRav-Z system. The same as the other one. And then you go to the other one. And then you understand, you interact not only with the residents of the property, but the citizens crossing this environment. By increasing the numbers of the use, we change that environment. And it's the same. You outside, I was explaining this to somebody some times ago. It's very, if you understand the logic behind it. Somebody is planning to come and rob your house here. Enters the zone where now your system understands to work, and he doesn't know why he's here because he came to rob. Now, because he works through the what we call energy of the man, emotion, he'll go back. Because he can't remember he came to steal. This goes back to years ago. I said, when we bring these right units, which at those times we couldn't tell you what it is, the world leaders will not travel because they plan wars, they plan murders, they plan all sorts of abuses. When they come to the systems, they just forget what they're here for. That's how you change the world leaders. Go back in the recording and teachings. Always said, now you understand the reason. Because we create plasmatic magnetic fields are the emotion of peace, the emotion of not needing anything. What's the purpose of me? To create war. Because I can't even remember why I came here for. Pardon? I've got Dean wants to ask a question here.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. So, Mr. Kesh, after what you've just said there, so the envelope starts off with these systems in a environment is the home, a community, and then expands out to a larger area. And obviously, ultimately, this will become the envelope of the planet.
More or less. It depends how many people use. If you remember, I'm sure he's on the line and will be listening. If you remember, when we did the trial with Ali in Canada, some 6, 7 years ago, people could see dome around his house. We put so much magravs and things in there, but in the plasma level, we couldn't explain to him, but we couldn't understand why. But it's not something we say is going to happen. We already seen it in Canada. People who were and went to his house, they always said. Even he said, I think the police came or something, came up to his house. Yeah. So now, instead of one unit, you just connect the units together. This is now it's on the table. We can't change it.
So this is where what you've just spoken about with the world leaders. You just said about them walking into this. They won't walk into this environment, but then obviously they won't have a choice. So what are we fighting for?
It's very near. 21st of March is the beginning of a new cycle. And sometime around 21st onwards, we'll have the March meeting. And then that's where, as I said, March meeting is the world leaders change of position. That was our target and what we're there. And we've seen whatever we say, you exercise it, you practice it yourself in past years. Now we go into a very powerful to the source of the knowledge and the technology. If I give you a system here, which is a new plasma units, the way we see it as a compact unit, the strength of this unit increases. You can do 50 kilo. You do more 5,000 kilometers. You have to realize one thing, and I keep on explaining. I come from a nuclear industry. But in my business life, I come from the oil industry as well. My education and my business life tells me something very, very serious. You go and make this to zero, you're not a hero. You'll be zero. They eliminate you. Oil industry, oil cartel is very heavy. And I'm very much aware of this problem. How many scientists have come up with a solution that you don't need oil? And how many of them are alive today? Zero. You have to understand, I spent 20 years in a big industrial oil structure, and I know what it means, and I know the danger of it. This way, we give a breathing time. You break this law, you're done with. Introducing a technology in a slow pace, you will see it. 85 million barrels of oil a day at $100 I have to put 6 more. Thus, the capital is created every day without evolution in fuel and other products. This cartel is too strong to fight with. But this cartel is the soul of the guy who digs these out. It's much more powerful, but it has to be done the subtle way. The way we've gone for past 20 years is the only way to handle. King of Belgium went for our throat to kill Fabio. They tried to kill me in 6 assassinations. So what? Because the money in it is too big and implications of it is too big. Has to be done the way we done, slow pace, everybody gets involved. The kings die of illness, so the presidents, so the layman on the street, so the farmer. And they all are prepared to give the kingdom and the crown and the life to live one day longer. One day without pain of cancer and everything else. And this technology gives them all, and they have to accept it as totality. Knowledge seekers have been with me when we sit with the princesses and crown princes and the world leaders. The first thing they ask you is, can I have a solution for my such and such an illness? So when the solution comes through this, we all accept, and that's the path we took 40 years ago. Any other question?
Okay, we've got several more questions in the Q&A. Alfred says he got an inspiration for a name for the console, Eliva or Eleva, or El-Eva. Okay.
It's a compact plasma console.
It already has a name.
It already has a name. It's compact, creates plasma, and as a console, it gives you all the pleasures of life. You don't buy a console to play games to hurt yourself. You buy it to enjoy yourself. And this is the pleasure of this new technology.
Alfred can call his Eliva. Seems like a good name for a personal setup.
In America, they call their cars different name.
You
You can call your name, your system on the table, Aliba.
Jackie asks, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Jackie asks, what happens after the console is connected to our home's power supply and the power supply fails due to storms or whatever? Do we lose the use of the console and headset?
Theoretically, yes, but the next generations, no. The present situation generations, yes, but you have to understand something which happens. Once you start these systems with the lighting and the plugs, you will create a dynamic plasma. Your emotional side, your hunger side will be satisfied. Maybe you won't have the light in the house, but the next generation which comes in, yes. You can, once you started a plasma technology in the house, it never stops. So maybe you will not receive food for a few days because down the road is blocked with the snow, and you wish a banana and put a headphone on and wish a banana and see if you get the taste, the smell, and the energy of it. This is a separation from matter state and the plasma state.
Okay, to be clear for people, in order for the headphones to work, does the cosmic ray generator also have to be purchased?
Yes, it's a compact unit together, yes. They're built to, and they connect to each other that way, yes.
Okay.
Rick, I'm going to ask Mr. Kesh another question, if I could.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure.
So, Mr. Kesh, after what you've just said there, that
Actually, I hear you better through the speaker than you're standing 2 meters away from me.
so if you switch the plasma on in this the home, let's say,
Yeah.
And you said that it's once it's on, it's on. So what if you take another position? Where does the energy go? How does this transfer down?
What do you mean, taking another position?
You're not present in physicality.
We lost his microphone. We can't hear Dean very well.
It's a simple word. What happens when you die? Does the cosmic rays of the unit connect to you? He's investing for his future. The system, it is on. This is here. This is what we say. Each headset has to belong to one person. It has to be that way. The energy pack unit you can have, but the head unit is individuals because it connects to the strength of the system, of the body of the man.
So you could have one cosmic ray generator and several headphones that work off that system?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because don't forget, the way we are designing it and its design, these compact units are connected to the lens compact structure we built up. In a way, you connect to another structure behind it. In a way, you connect to a memory bank, you connect to a server in a way. This is how it's built because it's the science behind it that it keeps it up.
Okay, Yuta is asking, can you connect one side to the underfloor heating on the first floor and the other side to the light on the first floor?
Yes, you've created the same condition. But
can you
see,
actually,
the best thing, the best system is a variable underground heating system. What you do in the summer when it's hot. This is why this got to be installed in a way it connects to all three phases. There is an instruction for connection if you connect to the main part of the house and get it done by an electrician. It takes 10 minutes to do it. It's just knowing what to connect to where, and goes between your, what do you call it, from your meter to your fuse box. That's where its position is. The electrician connects the box to the your meter and connects the other two entries into your fuse box that goes directly to the two sides. That's all it is. This, if you look at it, today's energy cost, it'll pay for itself within the first 2 years. But there is a contract with this, that there's a payment of €150 per year for maintenance. That way, if anything happens to the system, we maintain it, we support it, and allows the Keshe Foundation to support its other works and research. And with the industrial units where we submit, we take a share of the reduction. If industrial work saves 1 million a year, we take a percentage of that for 20 years. Because that, they understand it benefits them as much as benefits of future research. With this, the same with the head compact units. You have two units, so which way you buy 120 a year, what they call maintenance a year, or what we call you pay us for being able to use the system. That goes as a contractual payment. You receive a contract to sign. It's not just setting, we keep in touch because that way the next development, the next generation of things, the next knowledge which comes in, you get involved in and you're part of it and you are put into it.
Okay, Elizabeth says, thank you for helping us in expansion of our soul and knowledge. Does the production and sale of gas and energy systems in one continue, or are they replaced
Yes.
by this new system?
No, this is the two different things. These are creating different condition, and that the gas generator and the electric generator needed to power these systems. You need energy power. If you, I was explaining this very recently. There is a technique. I can make you zero, you paying bills. Your electricity will come to zero. We know this from when I designed it. But you tell me which electricity company will come and give you the electricity connection for you to have a free energy. They disconnect you. It happens, they come and take everything away. So you need a power supply to be able to run these systems. In the future, this system will be integrated into the power supply, that's for sure. But the lifestyle of the man today needs both the gas and electric in the Western world. So the unit gas and electric, we produce the gas for the production of the energy free flow, and we give you the gas surplus on the side if you need it. But production of the cosmic ray gases is needed to produce, to get energy off them for electric power supply. So these units, when you get the electric power generator, you just connect this to it and does the same. The beauty with it is that they're trying to stop any gas emission in the coming years, especially like with the electric cars and the rest of it. This technology, the gases producers uses for itself, unless you want to tap into it. And these units are already built. We're hoping to commercialize, I mean, we're selling it, but hopefully to deliver it in second, third quarter in mass production. They'll be produced 100% in Iran, and it'll be shipped out as part of the development. The beauty with the technology is that Keshe Foundation as an international organization is become self-sufficient internally within its own structure. We develop, the ideas are ours, we research, we develop, we manufacture, and we sell. We control A to Z of it. And if anybody can copy the new technologies on the table, I'd raise my hand. Copies does this, copies does that, but you cannot copy the new transmutation system, impossibilities. If you want to get half of your body there and have other problems with somewhere else, you're quite welcome to it. As I said to one of our knowledge seekers, I don't want half of your leg stuck on in the Atlantic on the way you're coming across.
Rick, it's Dean here. Rick, could you change the spotlight, please, so we can change the view in the studio? Thank you.
Mr. Keshe, good morning. I have a question. On a headset, you said you need the cosmic unit with it, but in the store, there's two kind of headsets. One is for the 800 euro, one is for 2,000 euro. The one for 2,000 euro is only the headset.
No, the 800 euro is the old one, has been taken off. Is that you see, you cannot order it.
No, Mr. Keshe, it's for the 800 euro. It's not 800. One is for the
4,800. The 4,800 is a combination of the head unit and energy unit together.
But you said the headset by itself is not going to work, but the other one is by itself.
No, because no. You're mixing things together. Some people buy one power unit, compact power unit, and they buy several head units. or you buy a compact unit and a head unit to start, and then you buy separate head units. You understand?
Okay, so if I buy the 2,000 euro, is good enough.
You
I
just
don't need-
no. If you get a 2,000, you just get a headset. You don't get the supply. You
So,
need the
so what is the headset for that you sell?
The headset goes with the console. You can't buy a headset on its own if you haven't bought the console.
Oh,
You
have
could
to buy
have
the-
several headsets to one console though, so you could.
Okay. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
You have to buy the headset with the console. But once you buy the console, it's like, you know, multiplayer as you play on your consoles at home. Any other question?
Can we use a headset with the white console that's mainly for energy, or does it have to be with the one that's for headsets?
That's the white, the console for energy doesn't carry the equipment inside it, not at the moment. In the future, there is a plan to implant it in it, but not at the moment. At the moment, it's only the, what do you call it, the headset. The beauty of it is, you can take this headset, you go from America to Japan with you. You go somewhere else for travel, you connect it to, as long as the power is in there, you're connected to your system. It doesn't have a bandwidth range, you know, you go out of the room, you cannot reach it anymore. You're working with cosmic ray, it's a different knowledge, it's different technology and science. You don't go hungry when you leave New York if you've got that system with you set for food. You have food when you go to Amazon and you have food when you go to North Pole. Remember, two magnets never miss or never lose the connection once it's created. It's the same with your love for your mother never disappears as the mother's died, because you're still connected to the direction of the soul. It's understanding the world of creation.
There's a couple of questions, Mr. Kesh, about what is the maximum distance between the compact unit and the head unit? Is it possible to drive with the head unit in the car and leave the compact unit at home?
Yes, you can, but understand that these systems, the new systems, carry cosmic ray level, and they carry current, electric current as well. And then you have to understand what you want to do with what. In the near future, I can see adapters will be provided by Keshe Foundation, where you actually can charge your mobile phones using your compact unit. As I told you, now we know how Tesla's done it, but in a cosmic ray level, so it's not something you will not need. You don't drive your electric car if they come to it and you have to charge it somewhere. You connect it to your compact unit, it's got a generator in the background, and you drive your car in New York or in New Zealand. It's the same. The technology has opened up, and now is how we as users bring new applications to it.
So,
Question
Mr.
from-
Cash, Dean here again. Sorry, I'll just quickly jump in. So, this is all for man, and this is the intellect of man. So, where does the vertical friends and horizontal friends come into this gameplay at the moment?
We have already seen it, and we have already felt it, how they come in. We, in our monitoring the system, especially in the tests we are doing and the flights we've done, a lot of you seen a lot of images, but knowledge is not there. But our knowledge seekers and scientists understand this. The system within it, we can and we have created to reach the soul of plants. And we see it physically. It takes us 1 second to show you the pictures of it, and then you understand. But this is a knowledge which you are not sharing. It cannot be shared at this moment. We can share knowledge, emotion, even with a stone. You've seen these pictures, but people don't understand it. The way we see how we interact with the soul of the man, we've shown in last week teaching. We have created, we have developed, we have understood the knowledge. We can interact with the soul of any plants, any tree, any stone, any object. And it's just like when you don't have the knowledge, you don't see it. It's not there. How can a blind man see the beauty of the daylight? So it's been in front of you. Maybe in the near coming future, next year or two, when I bring the same pictures back and I explain, it says, now we understand. We are not going theoretically, but we are using it in a way in our technology to feed you. We cannot give you the taste of a banana, which is a vertical, out of nowhere. We have to create a soul to be there to give for you to receive. So we have already got the knowledge. It's embedded in our technology. And many of you who came in the teaching or in the last 16th and the 20th have already been touched by that. So it's a knowledge we already have. It's the technology we already possess in our, what do you call it, arsenal of knowledge. Any other question?
Question from Gerhard, can the battery be a source for some hours for the compact unit?
Yes. I presume so. If you can connect it to a generator. It's all the same.
So you could connect it to a DC battery source rather than AC?
DC, but it works on both AC, DC, but it primarily works on AC. It'll be very interesting in the near future because the subject came up and you said you buy a compact unit and then you have a headphones. You sit at the table with your wife or your children with a headphone on and say, okay, shall we all have fish and chips? Or we sit on a dinner table with no food on the table, but would you like what we call, let's say, jelly? Or would you like a Christmas lunch? Or would you like a turkey? Or would you like whatever? And we all enjoy it. This is what is to come. It's here, it's not to come. It's just for you to test, to give us the dimension of the technology. A foodless table without animals and vertical people on it will become a natural process of upcoming time. This is not theory. The console is sitting here is for you to test it and tell us the limitation. A few years ago, just before I leave for Korea, my mother was in the deathbed. I made the system and it was taken to her. The recovery on the bed in the hospital was so fast that somebody didn't want her to stay alive if she was recovering so fast. They took the machine and they threw it out of the hospital. She changed within a few hours. This technology has no limitation. I use the same technology, what you have in this headset, on 2 occasions. And it still works. You got to understand the knowledge, not the equipment, how it interacts, how it connects, how it is to be there. And needs a knowledgeable man to be able to use it. Any other question?
We have the age-old question of from Katja. If someone has any implants, like for example, a medical shunt pumping the brain water into the stomach area, the pump is placed behind the ear. Is
Do
it
not
for
use it. Do not. We recommend you do not even purchase the unit.
if you have any kind of
Any
like
kind of electronic implant, do not. We cannot make exclusivity because we don't know who you buy it for, but it's an exclusion on all the systems. These systems cannot be used by people who have implants or you had a hip transplant. Do not use it. It's not for you. It cannot be used. Sorry, in a way, it gives you a life sentence, but that's all we have is the technology of the old coming into new. These are creating plasmatic magnetic fields. You will understand this when we'll show the demonstration in next week or in next couple of weeks with the new technology which come, where you see you can light up a LED, which is not anymore fluorescent tube, with a current which the manufacturers is impossible for it to be lit. So the plasma creates that current, and if you have this kind of system, it's interfering with it. As you can see, our people in the background are going around the exhibition upstairs, picking up item by item, which is in the store of the Keshe Foundation. This is not of something in the background. They're just going literally with the remote cameras upstairs on the top floor and picking up product by product. Downstairs is a space development technology of plasma. Upstairs is man needs in the matter state. And it's a very clear separation, but it's the same knowledge.
Okay, from Renate. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much for all the knowledge you share with us. My question, you always pointed out in the trainings that all the technical devices are only there as aids for us, and that we don't need that in the future because we can do it with our soul. For example, will we be able to build a house? And with our consciousness, we will be able to produce the temperature of the house, as well as all the energy without devices. Thank you very much for your answer.
What is an old English say? It says, where I lay my head is my home.
It's my home, yes.
Yeah. So it depends what you call a home and where you put that soul. You can, and we have spoken about this in the past, with the knowledge we have, if you interact different plasmas of different strength, you can create walls, you can create water. It just how the knowledge of the knowledge seekers will come to it in the future to do so. This is what matter states are created out of. You create condition, plasmatic condition, as you're creating vitamin C or a flavor of banana. You can create in placing magnetic fields in an appropriate way to create walls and to create colors for them, because they're all built of the magnetic fields. There's no difference. It's just understanding it and developing it. And I told you there'll be more jobs in the new space technology than man could ever imagine. It's a conscious walls. It's a conscious house. Would this, in this environment, I build this house with the fields, what would do with the surrounding, with the trees, with the plants? What will do with my neighbor who has this condition and that condition? So it'll become a generic and humane structure. It'll come. It's just how fast this technology goes to its next level and the mass production of it, of application and different things. The major breakthrough we'll see in the next few short time will be these plasma magravs systems, which will touch the industry in Europe. We have started inviting people who use these kind of things, and once we go with it public, they see it, then we see the opening to energy applications. The beauty of it is, and it's amazing part of it is, this, what you see in the background in this hall is combination of the work of the Keshe Foundation of China, combination of work of the Keshe Foundation in Austria, combination of the work in Iran. It's amalgamation of one structure in different nationalities. We see the production of gases in different parts of the world, and all has come together. But it's the same with the knowledge. We have no borders. And with that, allows us to be very much flexible to see where we can expand it as fast as possible.
Mr. Keshe, Dean again. So this is, you've introduced this into Europe, as you say, and across the planet. Many people can tap into this. It's being commercialized and given out to the communities, to the nations and beyond. At different levels of connection to the matter state of the planet, does it change its field strength the further you go away from the physicality of the planet? Is it all the same? Is the plasma the same in the matter state condition, or if you were elevated in a physical elevation?
It's a different strength of it.
It's a different strength.
That's all it is. It's a different color of it. It depends what happened when you mix green with blue. Huh? Mm-hmm. The combination gives you a different dimension, different colors, but it's all the same.
And so the universal family work in this?
We're all part of it.
All part of it.
We're all part of it. We thought we were separate. Now we see we're all part of it. Any more, Rick? Or shall we come to a conclusion?
Just perhaps how many headsets can we use with one compact unit?
As many as you like.
Okay. And one other question from Joel, perhaps. We saw, he says, we saw a
But
few weeks ago.
don't give your headphone to somebody else. You will understand reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like they say, don't give your heart to somebody else. It says Jalal has raised hand. We mostly got 3 questions. Let's see.
Okay, well, we better let Jalal get in there.
Thank you, Rick. Hi, Mr. Cash. Good day.
Jalal, good morning. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. How are you, Mr. Cash?
Still alive, which is a good thing.
Thanks God, Mr. Cash. Okay, I have 3 questions in one. First, we have the headset and we have the energy unit.
Yeah.
Okay. If I go to the energy unit, I have a red exit and blue exit. If the consumption in the red section, do it affect the blue one? If is it
No. No.
less or more?
No.
No.
You can load it as much as your system can take. What we recommend about 6 to 10 kilowatts should be the maximum.
Okay. And do it affect the headset?
No. The compact unit does not work with what you take from it. The headset works on a different structure of it.
Can I add to the other if I take from one?
What do
Let's
you
say
mean?
I am working with the headset, the emotion side.
Yeah.
How much I take from it, how much I use it, do that add or affect the other
Based on
system?
the matter state of it, no.
Uh-huh.
No.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, you give me a lot of indication here how to work.
Is
Thank you.
that your secret society still at work?
Oh, it's I don't know. Everyone is in one planet now.
The secret society, nobody's supposed to know, but
Yeah.
they're actually very successful. Very successful.
But maybe it is secret for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
One last quick question. Are stents included in the medical exemptions that can't be used with the system?
No. If you have any kind of implants, do not touch it. Because it's magnetic field and stents usually are metals or whatever, and they absorb magnetic field electric currents in it. Do not use. There is one of the things which goes on these exemptions, do not use these systems with, what do you call it, where there is implants.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you.
One thing, sorry, Eric. Mr. Cash, if someone already buy a system, but he didn't get it, can he change for this system?
Which system you're talking about?
I mean, anyone buy any system from the foundation.
Yeah, a lot of knowledge seekers are shifting a lot of things around. We can consider, okay, because we see the applications of it, we see the orders on it. We only open one channel for the knowledge seekers who bought the original Magravs power unit. If they want to change it to the new compact plasma unit or the new plasma units, which actually does perform and it can be seen with it, we are prepared to take it in and make a deduction. If knowledge seekers say they bought the Magrav unit and it doesn't work, when it was the Italian side, we still consider as adding replacement to, means you paid 500 euro, this is 3,500, whatever, we deduct it off, yes, it can be done. But with the plasma units, we guarantee the reduction because this is technology we set up this time. I had full hands on it, where the other MagRav unit was a lot of the things in the beginning of it. We originally could have changed the MagRav units to the zero MagRav energy, but that would have created a massive problem for the foundation. These systems, yes, you can come in, we can discuss, we can see what is needed. And those who bought the plasma MagRav units in the past, they can change the gas energy unit and we deduct it of it, or change it to this and we replace it. Value deduction, yes.
So you always accommodate, huh?
We have to. We are part of you. You're part of us. You brought us here. Your support has given the foundation what it is and where it is.
Very well, Mr. Cash. Thank you very much.
We are not a profit-making company to do. Thank you very much for today. I hope what we've seen here today as the compact units, as it says, the head units has brought you a new knowledge, a new understanding of what is to come. I'm sure we will not be pioneers in every breakthrough in this technology. We just opened the door. And I'm sure electronic companies and many new companies, many new structures and scientists which understand this will bring what we call more applications of this technology. But there had to be a breakthrough. Now, for the first time, you've seen it. In a way, if you organize this system, the console, to feed you, to give you the health condition, to allow you to transmute from one place to another, to allow you to have as much energy as you need, can be done. And it has been shown, it's been done. And in a way, many of you who came to LINS and many of you who partake in the sessions of past 2 or 3 months, you already have used this technology. It's not something to come. Now is in the manageable that every man can have one and access to it. And the same is with the other part within what we call the mass energy production. And the next phase for it is, we are now too dependent on what we call electricity from supplies by burning fuel, and also the next step to this technology, which is already commercialized, will come into the market in second, third quarter, which is the gas electric power unit, will become part of this, where the GaN's gas becomes part of the cosmic ray production of the technology, which brings a new dimension in the total use of the technology. I cannot explain to you what this new GaN's, what we call gas electric generator, will bring into play. It'll be a game changer again in a different dimension and different application. It's more or less an industrial revolution in a plasma, in the world of the creation. We come to it when it comes to its blueprint. Thank you very much for today. And one thing which I've been told in the background, we deliver these units according to the orders they come in. So what comes into production, you go back into the line in 3 months, 6 months as the orders come in, and we have decided we prioritize commercial units for application because that brings the technology into public much faster. Industrial groups, the property groups which have multiple thousands of properties, they want to put these units in because of the contractual base. It brings us an international reputation for us. We'll meet those, but we try to look into the commercial side as well and the public side. So the orders as they come will be met by the production time. Thank you very much for today.
Mr. Kesh, could I insert one last question here that I started with Joel? He would like me to finish it. So he says, we saw a few weeks ago the Iranian trial with the power unit. The systems of today are different because you must plug them in. Is the technology the same?
No. No,
It's different technology.
That technology which we saw live in Tehran is then we saw here in this auditorium. That is the part of the gas electric production unit. It's a backbone to this. It's a different ball game, but in the future it will become part of this unit because it's built to come into it, because we already use. Let me explain to you something very simple before we go. You have a head unit which connects to this unit. This unit, through the way it's been built and geared up, connects up with the mother unit in Austria. From there, the way it's like you lot come in for the meetings on the 16th and 20th, we control, we disperse what we want to disperse. And plus on what you receive. So if we might tell you as knowledge seekers one day, did any of you have a taste of banana at such a time? And see how many of you who have the headphones, you say, yes, we tasted banana, but we didn't want the banana because it was made available for test. The same will come when we bring that essence of the peace as a strength emotion, then we feed it, all of you and all the place will feel peaceful. So this is connected to this, and this is connected to the parents, the headquarters of the Keshe Foundation plasma structure unit, which is built. Even the plasma enhanced units, which you came here and you went inside, now is connected to that system totally through the same technology as what you see with the headphones and the console. When we took the 20th session last month, we had no telephone connection. We used this technology for the first time to check. Some of the flight units, we use this technology to check. It's not something we're going to use. We already are using this technology. In a way, our system, which is getting tested, developed in Austria, has become literally the center focal point of the technology in connecting to all these systems. And when you go into the laboratory, bunch of peaceful people, they just inherently are and are developing this. So it's become nature of the system. When you walk into the lab, it's so peaceful, it's so calm, it's so collective. And these created, they carry their emotion in these systems. It's a different ballgame. So what you see here is not going to be done. It's already been used. On the 19th, you go through this system to get your food, your energy. The 19th, teaching, Sunday with the Creator, lunch with the Creator, is done not from Lynn Center. It's done through a totally new system from laboratories of the Keshe Foundation. The emotion, the strength of it is different. We have tested it and we know what knowledge seeker who went through it have felt. Thank you very much for today. And we have seen the beginning of an industrial revolution in the plasma technology. And hopefully, the more of you use it, the more prevalent it becomes, and it brings the change which we all wanted. Not to kill, not to destroy, become peaceful people through our own changes, not the others. Thank you very much for today, and we meet you on Thursday teaching. And if we succeed, we'll have another Blueprint Day next week or the week after, when 2 new technologies, one you already know, one revolutionary again, in the knowledge of the expansion of the plasma will be introduced. Thank you very much, Rick.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe, once again for a lovely workshop here and exciting new products, and much to look forward to in the future as well. Okay, that wraps it up for our Plasma Blueprint Day today, Monday, February 13th, 2023.
One question. Can you put this as part of the teaching series? You know, you'd have 470, put this as 472 or whatever it's going to be. That it stays in the main channel of the Keshe Foundation YouTube and not separate.
Okay.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, we'll do that with live stream as well. Put it in the Knowledge Seeker workshop series. Okay, and okay, I think that's it for now. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Our next public teaching workshop is coming up fairly shortly in less than 7 hours, which is the public testimonials meeting. And people are invited to attend that. And we already have a number of testimonials lined up. And if you have your own personal testimonial of the plasma technology, then that's an excellent time and place to share that with others. So again, that's at 8 p.m. Central European time, and that'll be at the usual Zoom meeting number, same as the Knowledge Seekers workshops and all of our public teaching workshops, and also available on live stream, but not on YouTube. Okay, I think that's it for now on that. Go out with some musical version of our spaceship video, and we'll see you all in the next public teaching workshop. Bye for now.